Right now, there's almost a consensus that the Minnesota Vikings will select Tennessee quarterback Hendon Hooker with the 23rd pick in the 2023 draft. At one point, at best, was worthy of being selected in the third round, now getting all the hype to be taken in the first round. And we've talked about Daniel Jeremiah's mock draft. Since that time, we've seen Bruce Feldman of The Athletic, and now, most notably, ESPN's Todd McShay mocking Hooker to Minnesota at 23, saying, quote, "The Vikings have quietly been putting in some work on this quarterback class despite the team's 13-win season. Kirk Cousins was just 23rd in QBR at 49.9. Which, I'll get to the rest of this quote sidebar here. I'm over the Kirk Cousins experiment. Should not, in my opinion, should not get another contract extension by the Vikings. But that said, going the QBR route, analytics, formulas, not my style because of stuff like this. Kirk Cousins, 23rd in QBR. That's a problem. Are we really saying that Cousins was the 10th worst quarterback in the league last year? That's ridiculous. 4th in passing yards, 5th in touchdowns. Vikings went 13-4 last year, 11 one-score wins, no garbage time for Cousins to pad his stats. It was all high stakes. The problem with him, Kirk Cousins, is that the regular season, that's his ceiling. If you can make it into the playoffs somehow, some way, at best, you can maybe win a game. The Vikings should absolutely get the post-Kirk plan in place, but to say, well, he's 23rd in QBR, it's like, all right, man, we're just grasping for straws here. Daniel Jones had the 6th highest QBR last year. Is anyone out there saying that he was the 6th best quarterback in the league? If so, they're drunk. Make sure they get home safely. Plus, he's turning 35 this summer and will be entering the final year of his deal. Sitting behind Cousins for a year to learn the pro game and fully recover from his torn ACL could be the perfect setup for Hooker, who led the nation in QBR last season before the injury. I love Hendon Hooker. I hope he's a Minnesota Viking. That said, I wouldn't take him in the first round. I'd trade down, get a late first and a second, and try to double up on the potential return. Wide receiver / defensive line in the first, Hendon Hooker in the second. Bam! But let's say they take him at 23. No trade back. We're getting him right now. Beyond the anticipation of whether he works out or not after sitting for a year behind Cousins, I'm excited to see the next caveat of Kevin O'Connell's coaching skills. Positive culture guy, gets players to buy in, check. Play calling needs improvement, so the jury's still out. But we get to see, as it relates to Hooker, and even beyond Hooker, let's say they draft DTR or Will Levis, for example. We get to see Kevin O'Connell's development plan for a rookie quarterback go into action. Can you be successful coaching the next man up that you deem to be your guy? Kwesi Adofo-Mensah, he's only drafting a quarterback with your blessing. That's what I'm looking forward to. So, in regards to Hendon Hooker, going back to that, will the Vikings take him at pick 23? I'm going to say no. Jay Glazer said years ago that during the offseason leading up to the draft that 99% of what you see or hear is garbage. The remaining 1%, and this is just me spitballing here, my opinion, the remaining 1% that you can guarantee to be a slam dunk, that's reserved for the team that has the first pick. The first overall pick in the draft almost always goes exactly as the majority thought. But we're talking about pick 23 here. Oh, the Vikings, they really like Hendon Hooker, and they're doing all the homework they can on this guy. Teams release information that they want to be public as smokescreen. And in the first round, the Vikings are the last team in line that needs a quarterback. After that, you've got the Jags, Giants, Cowboys, Bills, Bengals, Saints, Eagles, and Chiefs. If this were a ploy to get a team to trade back with, maybe Seattle at 37 or perhaps Tennessee at 41. But I don't think the Vikings are going to take Hooker at pick 23 just because of the overwhelming consensus that it's a foregone conclusion. At this point, it's so obvious that they're going to take him in the first round that they're obviously not going to, if that makes sense. Comments time. Kurt Wood says, man, Ed Ingram was a rookie going against grown men. Give the guy a shot this season, rookie growing pains. I get it. And now, even though I'm sitting here saying that I'm done with Ed Ingram, I understand that the only lifeline that Ed Ingram has as far as his NFL career is that he was a rookie last year. Give the guy a chance. You don't want to necessarily cut bait with a player after just 1 year. Okay, fine. I say that all the time with Caleb Evans and Andrew Booth. Why can't that extend to Ed Ingram? Fair. However, at the same time, this dude needs to get leaps and bounds better, because what I saw last year was a guy who couldn't block and drew penalties nonstop. It was really bad. So, okay, we'll give him a shot to get better in year 2. That's fine. Jeff Altier says, gee, Dalvin had surgery for an injury, but by golly, he's healthy now. So let's keep paying him $14 million plus. Dump the guy already. Every day that passes that we don't get any sort of update on Dalvin Cook, this extends to Zadarius Smith as well, but especially Dalvin Cook. I'm saying to myself, man, what are we waiting for? I really hope there's some master plan in play here, because it doesn't make sense. You re-signed Alexander Mattison. You still have Dalvin Cook on the books for now anyway. If you go, I just don't see how you can go into next season with 2 running backs post their rookie deals. Something needs to happen with Dalvin Cook and that $14 million cap hit. There's no way you can let that fly going into 2023. And the last comment is made by Bob Sacamano. He says, surely George Paton is sniffing around. So Denver is interesting. So the last video I talked about Dalvin Cook, I think I mentioned Buffalo and maybe the Bengals as being potential trade suitors for Dalvin Cook. With Miami, in my opinion, they're out after re-signing Raheem Mostert and Jeff Wilson Jr. The Broncos are interesting depending on how they feel about Javonte Williams and George Paton, his previous ties with Minnesota. Rob Brzezinski, for example. Hey, we'll help you out. You help us out. You want Dalvin Cook? Let's make this happen. But either way, a trade needs to happen. We can speculate all we want to. Something needs to happen. The fact that it's dragged on for this long is like, what is he? The original Mona Lisa painting? Get it done, and let's get it done ASAP.